Jerry. And yourself, left 5 and 9. Most of you are 5 and 9 here. So, wonder if you got that over there, Peter. G4AKG from GW8 Yankee Kilo Victor stroke 2.
Right, okay Alan, G8YKV portable. So from G4AKG, yeah, I didn't quite get the all of the call sign, but very good. Yeah, we were about a 5 and 3 with QSB taking you up to a 4, so not too bad. I'm not sure if any of the others will be copying you. Anyway, very good morning to you. Trust you're enjoying yourself there. On to you there, Jerry, did you copy any of that from Alan? EI9DZ with a group G4AKG.
Not at all here. And if Phil, G4UDU, is listening, good morning, hope you're well. And I haven't heard anything from you for quite a while. Okay, back it comes to you, Peter. G4AKG, EI9DZ.
Yeah, EI9DZ, G4AKG. Yep.
Weaker with me, but I just wondered about what sort of power Ron was running. You could hear him, but he's only as you say, you probably hear him on a dummy load. But he's not broadcasting very far, I don't think. You and Ken are getting him, but that's about all. So I just wonder what sort of power level he's running there, Peter. Then I must go 840, I must get the skates on and get out the house. G0NOK.
Yeah, G0NOK, G4AKG. Yep, okay John, fine. Yeah, Ron's running 100 watts, but he's not too far away from me, so hence the strong signal at this end. So there we go. Anyway, 7-3. Okay, on to you there, Ron. G0WGP, G4AKG.
Yeah, okay, many thanks there. 0WGP, and John, please emphasise that I've got running at 100 watts. In fact, I've done a double check now, and it's giving out 96 watts, if you approve the meter. Right, nothing much from Alan on that occasion, other than I didn't get his full call sign, but I've got the stroke portable, no bother at all. He's dropped down into the noise similarly to all the others. It's just himself that's copying at the moment. All the rest drifting away in the noise, and I don't think it'll improve as time goes on. So with that, I'm going to say cheerio to all the guys. I'll put it back to you to formally close the proceedings. G4AKG, G0WGP.
I just jumped in there, Peter.
Sorry, say again?
I just jumped in there, Peter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Ron was okay up until he said 96 watts. 96.4, I think he said. So that was all clear and nice. And then it sounds as if he walked out the room and it shifted completely away on his signal. So, I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Cheers. Thanks for handing me off the net here, Peter. You have a good week. Good week to everybody who can hear me, and we'll catch you maybe, hopefully next week. G0NOK signing with the Mid-Sussex Amateur Radio Society Sunday morning net. Cheers.
Yep, 7-3, John, and speak to you next week, no doubt. Right, back to you there, Alan. I think it's G8YKV portable, but there we go. Trust you're okay there, enjoying the weather from G4AKG.
From G8YKV. Yeah, okay, one of the RS stations was signing. I'm not sure which one it was. Do they want to go again?
Yeah, it's probably Jerry, EI9DZ. Go again, Jerry. Alan can hear you.
I'm losing you, Jerry. Your signal's going way down. 7-3 all the best. EI7CB QRD.
he was Sean. Okay, Sean, I'll chat to you later. Conditions are changing around a bit, I think. It's 8:45, so you're off to breakfast. We'll chat later. EI7CV, I9DZ clear.
Okay, thanks. All the best.
So, we're running 100 watts into my G5RV, but it's at very low level, about 20 feet. I've managed to string it up. It's very nice over here. It's very noise free, so I can hear everybody with no problem at all, which is probably what the problem was on Friday when you were listening for me on 40. I was hearing a lot of people, but all around the place and making contact, but obviously the conditions down at your end are pretty poor. So I don't know whether you're getting everything from that, but everybody else so far that I have heard is 5 and 9 here in sunny Devil's Bridge. So back she comes. G4AKJ in the group from GW8 Yankee Kilo Victor stroke portable, and if you want I'll give you the WAB square so you can look up exactly where I am.
Yes, GW8YKV portable from G4AKG. Yep, okay, Alan's got 99% of that, so pretty good. There's a European station now coming up on the frequency, as they do. So there we go. Yep, all okay. Yeah, we couldn't. The noise level, as you know, on 80 in the jack is pretty awful. But we'll have another listen for you this week on 3740, about 8ish. So there we go. But yeah, the shack was a bit crowded last Friday. A few things going on. There we go. What's happening there? Anyway, yeah, it should be on Friday on 80. So we'll give it another shot. Yeah, okay, on the noise level. Yes, it's quite nice. Isn't it? 3 box. So that's only running barefoot, 90 watts. The linear's still tuned up for 40 meters, so didn't bother to change it over. It seems conditions are quite good. A bit of QSB to John N. Quite noticeable, but a bit further away it's not a problem. So Jerry and Sean were quite good signals here this morning. Anyway, I'll say 7 please, and enjoy yourself, and to Stella there, and probably try and work you on Friday. GW8YKV portable G4AKG.
G4AKG from GW8YKV portable. Yes, okay, Peter, fully copied. You'll have difficulty next Friday. We're heading back. So no, we won't be on the radio. But I will have the setup up. Probably will be monitoring most evenings to see what's going on. But I don't know whether it'll be better on 40 or 80, to be honest. Both are okay down here. So I'm not getting at all very much noise here. I've got a VHI speaker which I haven't even bothered to plug into the system. It's that quiet. Literally the only noise I get here is if we put the washing machine on, the drum motor makes the noise on 40, but that's all hot top round here, so I'm very, very lucky. We're in Forestry Commission land, and I know there's a cottage next to me which is occupied sometimes. There's a couple of other buildings here which are being converted, and another cottage a bit further down the valley, which you park on the lane and have to go 150 metres down a load of steps to. And unless you've got free sat, you've got no TV signal.
you've got no mobile signal, so it's ever so quiet down here. But there we go. We do have Wi-Fi, so we do have email if we want it. But there we go. If we want it. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, nice to hear everybody. Obviously, I'm very lucky where I am. But I was going to string the aerial up in some trees and across to a building, but then I just thought that's not a good idea. There's an 11 kV line going between me and it. So I thought better not to try that. So we managed to hang it over a couple of only about 20 feet, but it's doing. Anyway, I'll say 73 to you. Nice to make the distance, and we'll catch you probably in person, but won't be on Friday because we won't be back in time. But we'll catch you in person probably next week Friday or something like that. But unless we talk in the meantime. Okay, back round she comes to you, Pete, from GW8 Yankee Kilo Victor Portable to G4AKG.
KV Portable G4AKG. Yeah, okay, Alan, mostly okay. A bit of QSB on your signal then. So bands are changing a little bit, but there we go. Anyway, 7-3, and we'll keep an ear open for you, and enjoy yourself up there. GW8 YKV Portable G4AKG signing. Wishing everybody else listening a very good morning. He's having to hold the book in his hand because he can't put the...
Well, interesting stuff. And Robin, yes, I'm not sure about being in the film industry. I guess a lot of industries go up and down, but that's probably is more volatile than most. It's no doubt a fascinating industry to be in. And by the way, Robin, a film which was a Lindsay Anderson film. This was a lot of it was shot at the school where I was at, and I played a small crowd scene part. Anyway, there we go. That's the totality of my experience. Well, not actually, it's not quite the totality of my experience in films, because the school I was in was just next door to Welsh, and so they used to do a lot of filming. And one morning, when I was out on an errand somewhere, cycling down the lane, I wasn't really paying attention, and I studied sights, and dismay, because I just apparently cycled right bang through a film set where they were shooting early in the morning in one of the lanes, and I hadn't spotted it. Anyway, there we go. Right, over to you, Alan, and I'll make the next one a final and disappear off. G3YJ.
Well, I had this similar thing happened to my wife in the Isle of Man. She went back there and she wanted to go and walk down the sort of little lane leading to the farm. It's a public road, it's not the actual farm lane. It goes down to the where there's a derelict hotel. Anyway, and of course there was some police there, you see, and so she thought, oh, there's obviously something up. And so she approached the police and she said, excuse me, is it all right if I go down? They all fell about laughing. They said, well, that's all that is the film. They're not real police at all. But there you are, and this is quite often done. And I don't know if you ever saw the film V for Vendetta, which my son was involved in, and it started with, it's about the fight. The idea of this story was that Britain's under military dictatorship, and the sort of people trying to overthrow the followers of Guy Fawkes, and they all, when they're doing in demonstrations, they all wear Guy Fawkes masks. And that started, this is very often demonstrators don't want to be recognised, they wear Guy Fawkes masks now. But the, in it, he had to be guarding the military vehicles, guarding number 10 Downing Street. I've got a good photograph of him in army uniform. Driving these military vehicles, tanks and things. They were driving through London with a police escort at about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's amazing that you can do it. It's not normal. Everyone is... Why was they all these little white horse? With the very interesting. Normally, you can't get in there in the public. But it went down very well, Viva Vendetta. And there we are. The most no doubt we'll get another one too. G3YJ, I'll make sure you're then. Something more productive.
I did see that film, V for Vendetta, Alan. Very interesting and thought-provoking film. Yes, indeed, I remember that. Okay, I'm going to disappear. I need to start thinking about getting something ready before travelling. So wish you and Jeannie a very good morning. And likewise, Robin, have a good fun on your 4-meter net. And see you all anon. So, GNE, G3YJ signing, and over to you to Tiger Ribbons, everybody. Cheers.
Sure, well, there you are. Funny you told us all. I've got a lovely big photograph of it standing guard out one of these coming outside number 12. Anyway, cheers then. G4GM.
Anyway, I hope the John Ratcliffe thing goes off successfully.
He says he was only running about 80 watts. They hadn't put the linear on, so he was only running about 80 watts. But certainly he was an S9 plus signal here right through.
I wasn't looking at signal strength, Dickie. It was just, the SNR was coming up so high that the lowest was 19. I was typically looking at 20, 21 and even more. But, good to have pictures and even QRP. Anyway, good morning from sunny Cambridge here, where it's, hang on, let me just have a quick look on my weather station, see what that says. It's going to be a hot one, I reckon. No, it's 20 centigrade at the minute. G4XGT.
G4XGT 0PWC. Well, I'm down on the south coast, John, at the caravan, and I haven't got a thermometer outside, so I've no idea what the temperature is, but it's getting pretty warm and it's clear blue sky, so I don't think we're going to have any problems with be all right. It'd be a good sunbathing day today. Over.
Yeah. No, I'll keep out of it, mate. Hot weather, sunshine. I don't need it. I mean, I do enjoy, sitting out in the sunshine, but not when it's too hot. I don't get any pleasure out of being cooked to death, over.
Oh, well, no, just the same with me, John. We've got a nice big umbrella, and we pitch under that behind the caravan. It's peaceful and quiet there. The birds twittering away, and the occasional cup of tea or cold drink or whatever you want, and just let the world go by.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Anyway, my son is in Stansted at the moment, getting ready, or maybe he's on a plane already now, I don't know, and he's taking his wife and 2 young children to Mallorca. Mallorca with 2 kids, 4 and 6-year-olds. It's about 32 there, so it's not too bad. Small island, shouldn't be too bad, middle of the Med, but try myself. Anyway, it's a nice place he's going to. Enough said. Okay, well, I'll QS right at 736 and see what's going on there. Very good morning and thanks for coming in. G4XGT, all the best.
Yeah, G4XGT, G0PWC, yeah, all the best, John. Another look outside, it's definitely clear blue sky here. There's one thing about being down here on the coast, we always get a nice cool breeze, so, there is always a breeze blowing through, so it's not too bad. Anyhow, 73 for now, take care, we'll talk again. G4XGT, G0PWC.
Yeah, okie doke, cheers.
Put it back down to you, John. G7LWF and the Dorking and District Net. And if the tuner has finally stopped tuning, the frequency is in use. G4DFA.
G7LW, okay, picking it up, and nothing heard of our potential joiner there.
Well, let's see what you said. One sort of all sorts of that.
Effect or not. When I thought they did. When I built my first one, I thought, oh yeah, it definitely makes the air feel fresher. But I'm not sure whether it did. It might have just been me imagining things. But they made the wall dirty. I found that they certainly got rid of the dust particles, but the dust particles all seemed to cling to the wall behind the ionizer, so I gave up on them eventually. The last one I built actually had some fans in it, and that wasn't quite as bad, but it still left, and I actually put it on top of a radiator, and the radiator eventually collected all these little black marks, tiny little black marks of dust and stuff, and they were very, very difficult to get rid of. Just one wipe wouldn't get rid of them. You had to actually wash the radiator with soap and water to get rid of them. So had a bit of experience with ionizers, but most of the I bought one. Now, when did I buy one? After the first one, I thought I'd buy a proper one, and that was useless. So over the years, I've built several of them, but never really believed that they actually work. Okay, about the doublet. Yeah, well, congratulations on building it. Getting it up in the air is going to be trouble for you, isn't it? I wonder if you've got somebody that can come round and help you do that. But that's my situation at the moment. I need to do some repairs on the doublet, and both of my regular mates are a bit indisposed at the moment, so I'm having to live with it. It's not too bad. It's just that one of the legs has slipped a little bit, and I need to let the whole thing down, adjust it, and pull it all back up again. Anyhow, enough of my trouble. Back to you, G1NYN M0SBZ.
Yeah, just with a little thought. Anybody think was about John or anybody? Yeah, well, it's all ready to go. And I've got a pulley system on my back pole, and I can just drop the pulley down and take the G5RV off and put one leg onto that battery, and then we'll see anyway. If it's going to stop like this over catfish and not too warm, I might give it a go today. But I'll see. But it's just getting it into the roof space. That's going to be the awkward part of it, when I can put it through some chunk into white piping or something. And it's 450 ohm ladder line I've got at the moment. It's just an experiment, Dave. If it's going to work, I'll put it on open wire feeder properly, and like yours is. But this is just an experiment, just to see, and we'll take it from there. If it's going to work, and on the measurements I've made it out, we'll check it out with the well, no, I can't use the analyzer, can I? I don't know. We'll have to see, because it's open wire. Would that work on the analyzer? I presume it would it? I don't know. But it's just experimental, just to see if there is any difference. Although my noise ceiling today, it's only X3. No noise on here at the moment. And you're an S7, sometimes S9. You're wavering between S7 and S9 BBC quality as usual, Dave, alright?
Yeah, Roger. Yes, okay, Dave. But unfortunately, somebody started up very close, and excuse me, they're cutting into your signal quite badly, actually. If they don't hear us, then we might have to shift down a little bit. But okay about the open wire is much better than that 450 ohm stuff. Unless that 450 ohm, of course, is solid copper. The 450 ohm that I got was steel, with a copper coating, and that was useless. I still got loads of it actually, and I was amazed. I was working on the kitchen bench, kitchen table with it, or the work surface, and I had a magnet, and it kept clinging to the magnet, and I thought to myself, that's not right. Copper wire shouldn't be attracted to a magnet. But and sure enough, it was steel. And the problem with that, of course, is it gets brittle, and if it's sort of flopping backwards and forwards in the wind, then it will break quite easily. So try it out, Dave, and if it does work, then go to the open wire. As regards to the analyzer on open wire, yeah, you can use it, but you have to use battery. On my 259 MFJ analyzer, it says if you're going to use it for open wire sort of balanced stuff, then you need to disconnect the power supply and run it on batteries. So and that's quite expensive actually. I've got a feeling there's about 10 or 12 AA batteries in that thing. Right, so I'm sure that Frank is there, so I'll put it back to you, and perhaps if you like you can call Frank in after your next over. G1NYN M0SBZ.
Yeah, G1NYN returning, yeah. What we're going to say, I think there's about 8 or 9 in that one that I've got, that analyzer. It's an MJF, but I don't know what the model number is. We'll give it a go and see. I've just found a little magnet, so I'll check it out and see if it is steel. It probably will be on the just I didn't pay a right lot for it at one of the rallies, so I bet it is a excuse me, I bet it is a steel with copper coating on. It won't be copper, I can't see it anyway. Well, we'll give it a go anyway, and then I can take it from there. Just an experiment to see if it's going to work. I was toying with the idea of extending the G5RV 300 ohm and bringing that straight into the APU. I don't know if to do that. That's but it's working okay, this G5 at the moment. So if you didn't not fix it, I don't think. Anyway, I'll put it round to Frank and there. Hope the weather's cooled down a bit. From G1NYN.
Yeah, good morning, Dave. Good morning, Dave. This is G0GSR. 21 degrees and bright sunshine here. I think it's going to be even hotter than yesterday. We managed about 25 degrees C yesterday, so not too bad. But yeah, there's been nothing wrong with using the 300 ohm ribbon, Dave, if you prefer it. I used to use that on one of my antennas. I had some rather good quality slotted 300 ohm line, and that was really copper, but I am at the moment using 30 meters of this horrible 450 ohm stuff. And like you say, Dave, there's no copper apart from the plating in it. But yeah, getting a little bit of stick from the QSO just 2 kilohertz above at the moment, so might be worth thinking about QSY. But one of the tricks I use on my analyzer, Dave NYN, is to, well, both of you really, I've made a little balun. I've made a little 4-to-1 balun, and that isolates it from the antenna analyzer. Oh, the QRM's getting too bad now. Over to you, Dave. Do you want to think about QSY, Dave? M0SB2 with G1NYN from G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, Frank. Yeah, do need to. There's some idiot started up above us now, Frank. So if you name a frequency, I'll move to it, Roger.
Well, I was thinking about moving one down, but unfortunately somebody started 2 down now, so I'm not sure where to move, Dave. Over.
Yeah, Roger, it's 3740. 40, Roger.
No, somebody started up on
G3VZF, good morning.
Oh dear. 3735. Is that where the digital boys are? 3735 looks here, Frank. Roger.
Eight 3738. I think that should be clear enough.
Yeah, Roger. 3738. Did you get it? nightmare. Let's all go to John. A very good morning. Did you get 3738, John?
Yeah, I'm copying fine.
Okay, 3738 then, everyone.
G3VZF.
G0GSR.
Yeah, it's more difficult for me. I've got 5 different receivers to tune. 3738, you copy, Frank?
Yeah, I just hope we're not turning anybody's toes here. This is G0GSR. Is anybody complaining? No, I think we're okay.
John, why don't you take an over?
Yes, good morning, chaps. Bit of a squeeze about this morning, isn't it? Astonishing. In 1 hour's time, it'll be virtually empty. Funny thing about amateur radio, isn't it? Anyway, good morning to you all. And Frank, hope things are well day here. Another cooker, I think, but no sign of any rain. Guess it's the same. I'm trying to think who I now pass it to. As you passed it to me, and as I haven't heard the other Dave yet, I'll pass it to Frank. G0GSR, G3VZF.
Yeah, very good morning, John. I'm just a bit concerned we may have lost the other Dave now in the move. He didn't seem to QSY, so hope we haven't lost him. Yeah, very warm here, John. I think it's going to be hotter today than yesterday. We had about 25 yesterday, but it's 21 now. So I think that's going to be exceeded today, and likewise, no sign of rain. Very, very clear morning today. Right, I'll pass it over to G1NYN, or at least call him in. Dave, I wonder whether you've managed to QSY. G1NYN with a group from G0GSR.
Yeah, G1NYN, but yeah, I found you. I was just pouring a cup of coffee and just urging wait the wage. Yeah, good morning to John as well. Oh, wait a minute, let's put a bit more. I've gone on the, that's it. I just retuned as well, and I come down on power, so hopefully I'm better, I'm stronger now. I wasn't tuned up properly on 43, so I retuned as well, but I won't think it'll make much difference. I'm just looking at my camera has gone off. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm going to something, but it seems to have gone off. I'll check that out in a bit and see if it's working. I don't know why the LED's gone off, unless something's happened. I've got power to the PSU and everything else seems to be working. PC speakers are lit up, so I don't know what's up there. I'll check that out. Yeah, good morning to John as well, and I don't know who's to take it now. Is it back round to Dave, or you to take? No, back round, I'll put it back round to Dave. Yeah, you take it, Dave. G1NYN.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah, sorry about losing you, Dave. I did. You were obviously making coffee when we decided to change frequency, but all's well that ends well, as they say. Oh, now where did that come from, John? Is that Shakespeare or from the Bible? I'm sure you'll tell us. Analyzer, Frank, I didn't hear because you were saying, well, what you can do with the analyzer, and then of course we got all the interference. So I didn't hear what you said about the analyzer. So perhaps you could repeat that when it comes round to you. Frank. Round to you then, John. G3VZF in the group, M0SBZ.
0SBZ, G3VZF. Yes, not just from Shakespeare, but it's actually the title of one of his plays. As always, our stock language roots itself back to William Shakespeare. But I hope it is all well, ends well here. It's astonishing looking on Hack Green. This does seem to be a busy part of the band, and yet I guess when you started on 43, things were really quite clear. You actually were all quite good copy there, but we'll see how we do here. There's a digital transmission just below it, and another one just below that, so I guess they've got the amount of spectrum they need in the morning. Anyway, yep. Nice sunny day here today. Actually, I've got virtually nothing to say from the last 24 hours. I've been helping the wife with some of her book writing projects. When I say helping her, actually, she's doing extremely well by herself. She's found some quite a good website to help her design covers for her ebooks. In the past, we've actually commissioned artists to design covers for us, and we've decided to keep a couple of £100 in-house by just using websites, and it's astonishing actually how easy it is. Well, I say easy, perhaps I'm talking her talent down on how easy it is to produce something that really looks quite effective. So there's a few £100 saved. I wonder if Pete's has been around, whether he's been on at all this morning. Oh dear, I forgot the order you gave me, Dave. I'm sorry. Tell me, Dave, what big letter shall I have on my pad? Break?
Yeah, you want a big S. Big S for Frank, Roger.
Okay, it is still to Frank. I wasn't quite sure whether you were going to push Dave into the order there. Good signal this morning, by the way, Dave. It's little Dave, I'll say, because you were called Big Dave, weren't you, M0SBZ? So I'll talk about little Dave. You'll probably find you're 6'4" or something, but Dave has told us that Dave in Dunstable Dave has told us that he used to be called Big Dave. So we need a differentiator. Anyway, so that's been the busyness here, really. It's yes, it's something. It really is surprising just how much there is on the internet that is now effectively replacing a lot of people who otherwise would actually, I think, call themselves skilled. But if their talent is digitalable, how about that for a new word? Then it's well, as I say, it's a couple of £100 in our pockets rather than in our local artist, who will now have to starve in his garret. G0GSR G3VZF.
Yeah, okay, John, G0GSR. Starving artist, yeah. Well, good luck to them anyway. Yeah, I'd save the money if I were you, John. There was I don't know whether you saw Click, or you normally watch Click, the sort of computer geek program, but they were talking, I was watching it this morning, and they were talking about computer-generated art, and all this lovely artwork that was being generated by artificial learning mechanisms in computers, but you know, if a computer generates art, is it really art? That's a difficult question, isn't it? Anyway, you hopefully get the covers done, John, for a very good price. What I mentioned about the analyzer, Dave, was the problem I had with mine is that it will only measure up to about 500 ohms resistive, so what you're probably going to get on the end of a doublet feeder could exceed that on the autobahn, so it won't be able to measure it. So I made a 4-to-1 balun, little tiny thing, just on the smallest toroid core, and stick that on the end of the analyzer and connect that to the feeder. And that means, of course, that it's isolated and you can use it on the mains now. So you can either make a 4-to-1 or a little tiny 1-to-1 balun and put the analyzer and power it from the mains adapter, and it shouldn't hopefully affect it. Well, I suppose the other way to do it would be to make an RF choke with the DC supply lead. Put that quite a lot of turns around a big ferrite toroid and isolate the DC end of the analyzer. Just a thought anyway. On to G1NYN, is it? Yes, G1NYN. Sorry, Dave. Yes, from G0GSR.
Yeah, G1NYN returning. Yeah, well, I have got a little 4-to-1 balun kicking about in the cupboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to excuse me, I'll just put that on the top and try that when I get the doublet up. Would that work, Frank? Background, quick one, Frank, over.
Yeah, it would work, Dave, but I don't know what it would tell you, because you're accepting the fact that most bands will have a high mismatch on the feeder anyway, so do you really want to know what the value is, Dave, over?
No, not really. I just want to know, excuse me, whereabouts it is resonant, and do I need to trim or not trim or add more? That's really what I want, over.
Yeah, but a doublet is a non-resonant antenna, Dave. It probably isn't going to resonate on any of the bands you work on.
Oh, right. Well, I'm still learning on double it, so I'll try it anyway. I've got 17 metres a leg, and we will try and bring it through the loft and into the ATU of us.
Yeah, I think that's your main problem, isn't it? Getting the feeder into the building rather than anything else. But I mean, conventionally, a doublet is a half-wave dipole on the lowest frequency you want to use. But if you then connect that into a high impedance feeder, there's still going to be a high mismatch on it. So I'm pretty sure that on every single band you intend to use, there's going to be a high VSWR. But the point is, it doesn't really matter if the feeder is fairly loss-free. Then it doesn't actually matter, Dave, over.
Roger on that, yeah, and the ATE will do all the work then, and that's it. I take it, yeah. Whereas a conventional coax bed, I'm not really up on the science on antennas yet, so we're still learning, Frank, over.
Well, I don't claim to be any kind of expert, Dave, but the doublet I've got here seems to work okay. And just because I'm a geeky kind of person, I did try and measure the impedance on the end of it, and I calculated that the VSWR on this band is 10 to 1, Dave. That doesn't actually matter because the feeder is such low loss. Your name YN from G0GSR.
If we're moving into break-in mode, let me just emphasise, Dave, it's not the science you need to understand, it's the philosophy. You must forget about resonance and specific wavelengths. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a hard thing that a lot of people have a lot of trouble doing, but you've got the only physical things that you talk about are the basic principles of getting as much wire as possible up in the sky. Apart from that, forget anything to do with meterage or resonance or whatever.
Yeah, roger on that, John. Yeah, I'll take that in mind. And we'll try it anyway. I'm going to try it. See if I can, if possible today, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what the son-in-law's doing this afternoon. I think he was working this morning, so he might just pop round and give me an hand. It's just feeding it through into the loft space. That's going to be the difficult part. Anyway, I'll put it back into order now and let Dave, I think it's Dave's turn, from G1NYN, wanting a coffee.
Yeah, there they go, Frank. I take it that's the digital boys, Frank, Rob Break.
We've got one either side of us now, Dave, so I don't know where we're going to go now. There's one HF and one LF now.
Yeah, I can still hear you, so I guess we'll have to struggle through. But I really do think, they're no, I mustn't say it. Anyhow, right, so covers for books, John, yes, and digital. John, I take it you can still copy me, can you, Dave?
Yes, no problem at all.
Yeah, Dave. Well, yes, well, when I was in America in 1976, I came across the first designer program. It was a DC motor design program, and prior to it, it was called the A251, or all written in Fortran, and it took into account just about every parameter of a DC motor. But the output of this program, there were several possible outcomes. You could, if you put in the parameters you wanted, torque and speed, etc., you'd crank the handle, put all the data in, crank the handle, and several possible combinations would come out. You could either have a long, thin motor, or a short, fat one, or one that was what we used to call a square section, which was the stack was as long as it was wide. And of course, so all these options came out, and they would all effectively work and give you the same performance, but it didn't quite understand the sort of the basic sort of human thing is that you don't really want a motor that's 3 feet long and half an inch diameter. So as regards to artwork and that, Frank, I think it's sort of okay, but I think that they're still only imitating, aren't they? But to be quite honest, some of the artwork that I've seen from artists over the years, I'm sure that a computer certainly could produce more pleasing to the eye renditions of things. And that Tracy, I was going to say Tracy Ullman, that's not Tracy somebody, and their unmade bed. I mean, oh dear, what's artistic about that? Right, so cover the yes, I think that's it. And the 4-to-1 Ballon, yeah, that's a good idea, Frank. Mind you, I must admit that I never actually even tried to use the analyzer on the doublet. Not for the technical reasons that you mentioned, John, just that it all seemed to work very well. And as I've said quite often in the past, I just put up the longest piece of wire I could and fed it in the middle. And I was very fortunate that the feeder length and stop length didn't have any awkward spots. And I can tune it very, very well over all of the HF bands. 12 meters is not easy. There are one or two hot spots there, but I can still use it and I can still transmit.
Right.
So yes, forget about the analyzer, Dave, and just make it as long as you can. Feed it in the middle, preferably with open wire, and then as long as you've got a nice big antenna tuner, then you should be up and running. Right, so back to you, John. G3VZF in the group, M0SVZ.
Yeah, should we go to 3753?
3753. Just bear with me a second. 3753 looks clear to me. What about you, Frank?
It looks clear here.
Dave, 37. Oh, hang on, somebody's just started up there. Can you see it? 375 something?
Yeah, but it's not going to bother us on 3753, is it?
Okay, let's all move. Dave, did you hear that? 3753, Roger?
Roger.
EMQSY 0GSR.
Little Dave. It's a problem everybody has with understanding doublets. You have to dump every idea that you really have, other than those fundamental principles of lots of wire up in the sky. Preferably also trying to keep that wire, well, you don't have it. The simple rubric, if you want one, is you've got two wires. The more they run parallel, the less they radiate or receive. The less they run parallel, the more they radiate and receive. Hence the idea that a basic doublet is parallel feed up to a point where the very same wires just splay out in totally opposite directions. That's Boy's book of doublets, page 1. And there ain't no page 2, really, other than these sort of clever little tips like having an extra couple of meter of feeder that you can switch in.
if you're in one of those nasty points where the feeder is looking like 5,000 ohms. But it's as simple as that, and like common sense, it's as difficult as that to actually achieve. So good luck with the self-brainwashing. When you come out the other end of it, you'll wonder why anyone ever touched wire aerials other than doublets. I'm sure you'd agree with at least some of that, Frank. G0GSR, G3VZF.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Yeah, G0GSR. Just looking at the frequency we've just left now, it's remarkably clear, almost like they were listening to us, apart from a QSO on 3745. Yesterday, that was a GM station's net, so they may not have actually been hearing us on 3745. But absolutely, John, yes, agree with that. I think it's difficult to grasp that you don't actually have to have resonance in an aerial for it to work. Our broadcast aerials, the low-frequency aerials, were nowhere near resonance. Some of them were above resonance and some were below resonance, but it's not actually necessary to have a resonant length of aerial for it to be effective radiator, so that's a difficult concept, but that's what you got with the doublet, Dave, and the idea with the open wire feeder is the VSWR on it is very, very high, but it doesn't matter because it's very, very low loss. And I hope you've joined us here, Dave. G1NYN with the group from G0GSR.
Yeah, G1NYN returning. Yeah, right, another question, right. Is there a hot side and on the doublet? Because on back of my 18 March 1, so I could put it into the back of the ATU. Maybe you can mention that on the next one, but that's really I've got to get that into my head now. Like you say, the non-resonant, it's just a different matter of thinking, so we'll do that. But I can only try it and see what happens. But I think it's just thinking in a little bit more. I read that article that Dave sent me, and yeah, we'll try anyway. We will try. Round to I think it's Dave in the order back into Dave from G1NYN.
G4SSX. Good morning.
Yeah, hello, Wolfie. Good to hear you. Just stand by a second. G4S there. Yes, a very good morning, Wolfie. I tell you what, Wolfie, have an over and then hand it back to me, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. M0SPZ, G4SSX, returning to the group. Yeah, very good morning, all. And Doublet is a very, very good aerial. There's no doubt about it. It's very simple to make, provided you got the 450 online. I swear by it. It's very, very low noise. Well, I get a noise level of on 80 meters of about S7, S8, and I'm used to that. So there you are. 10 meters is open as well, and well, I can hear the beacon. I can hear. I've got two beacons. I've got German beacon, DL0IGI, and also an IK3 as well. So there you are, other radio on the 706. There you are, that's the story. Yeah, yes, it is superb, absolutely superb. Also, 20 meters is open and 15. I heard a few FT8 signals on there. Not that it. So there you are, that's the story. Apart from that, all is well. Lovely morning, very hot this morning again. It was lovely and cool at 5, I must say. And I've been taking the doggy out around about 10ish, my usual time, so there you are. And take him out again at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, when the heat has resided a bit. So there you are, that's the story. Golf yesterday, absolute brilliant. I missed out to winning it by one shot, but never mind. You know, I don't have anything to prove, nothing to prove, because I've been there and done it. So there you are. Anyway, back to you. Signals are good. Anyway, back to you there, Dave. M0SPZ, G4SSX, wishing everybody a very good morning.
Yes, okay, Wolfie. Thanks for that. And yeah, John, I didn't quite mean what I said there, but I think you probably understood me. Yeah, G4SSX in the group, M0SPZ returning. Yes, okay, Wolfie. Well, first of all, Wolfie, I would really appreciate it if you wouldn't use, when you call in, please do not use CW. I fell out badly with Peter about that, and Peter, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to join us again. But Wolfie, it really winds me up something terrible, so please do not over the top of our QSOs start sending Morse, even if it is just to say hello. It really does wind me up. So I'm sure you'll appreciate that anyhow. As regards to, well, John, a new word. I might have known you'd give me a new word. Rubik. Didn't realise that Rubik meant what it did. I've looked it up in the dictionary, and the only time I've ever heard of Rubik is Rubik's Cube. So I've now got a new word for my vocabulary. So thanks for that, John. I might have known you'd slip in a good one, as the actress said to the bishop. Round to you, John. G3 VZF in the group, M0SPZ.
M0SPZ, G3 VZF. You've really got me confused now, Dave. Did you mean rubric with an R in the middle of it?
I think Rubik, you said, didn't you? Rubik, Roger?
I don't think I've ever used that word other than in reference to the cube, but I do often talk about rubrics and RUBRIC, and I think that's the word you're hunting for, Dave, because it fits into my style of conversation.
Yeah, rubric. RUBRIC, Roger?
Yes, that's correct, and you'll see I think I've been using it in the correct way. Guys, the English language. Anyway, good morning, all. Good signal, very good signal indeed. Actually, strongest of the lot on the channel here. So, I didn't comment, Frank. The click art one. Occasionally I see that program. It's a case of just remembering to be on the right half-hour slot. I know I could download the thing or whatever, but there's so much in the day. But yeah, it's interesting as to who calls it art or not. Probably in 20 years it'll be a computer that has the opinion anyway, Frank, and we'll all be just like little hamsters running around wheels whilst AI runs the world. That's the slight interval before AI decides that we are no longer necessary. Okay, just a little aside on all this. This idea of resonance, there's a lot of aspects of resonance. Electrically, it's when the load looks purely resistive, just like a resistor that you're trying to get energy into. In music, it's the energy at which it's in radio too. The dominating thing is the launching of energy on the air for radio, the ether. But nobody really, BBC or professional broadcasters aside, nobody has used resonant aerials in amateur radio, really, Dave. And the reason for that is you think about this band. Its bandwidth is 300 kilohertz. That represents about 8% of the base frequency. So if you have an aerial that's resonant at, say, 3.5 megahertz, it's going to be clumsily off resonance at 3.8 megahertz. So amateurs have never actually used really resonant aerials. And what they've done without knowing it is that they've been using a doublet. Now, they've been driving it crazily through coax, but then look at the modified G5RV. That is a simple doublet which people have crucified with this dozy idea of changing half the feeder to being coax and still thinking it's going to perform as well as it did in Louis Varney's original design. But what amateurs had, and they didn't understand they had in the old days, was an ATU built into their transmitter. Now, I don't mean the sort of one that's in modern rigs. I mean the thing called a pi tank circuit. And whilst all the instructions were connector, possibly in those days, connect a 70 or a 75 ohm resistor to the output of your transmitter, tune for maximum signal across that resistor, then go on to your ATU. Most amateurs totally ignored that, Dave. They recognised that this thing, a pi tank circuit, which was meant to be a resistive transformer, could, if you sodded around with it, good technical term there, actually also act as an ATU. And in the old days, there were so many amateurs who basically had nothing between the anode of the transmitter stage of their rig and their aerials but the pi tank circuit, and they were bodging it to work as, frankly, what you have with a doublet. So all the doublet says is, why don't you recognise reality? If you want to work other than on certain spot frequencies, you won't be using a resonant aerial. You won't even be interested in resonance. You'll just be trying to make sure that everything along the path can handshake with each other. The anode of the output valve eventually can handshake through all the junk that's between it and the actual radiating section of the aerial. And so, in other words, it's almost back to first principles, Dave, but the first principles that most amateurs forgot in about the same time in history as people stopped wearing +4s and spat. So we're really just going back to first principles here and saying, look, you start with a complex impedance. You want somehow along the line to have ironed that all flat because you don't want the energy coming back. And that's what's been amateurs' aim right from the very start of radio. People who understand and use doublets are just therefore going back to first principle. In the absence of bits of wire with arrows on it, the sort of stuff which our friend whose name I've forgotten, Russ Andrews, likes to flog people, we try to paint arrows on our wires by trying to make sure that what's eventually seen from the energy source is something that just looks like resistance. Then we can just cook the ionosphere and put out the best signal we can. That's it in a nutshell as to what it's all about. So it's not a new principle. It's not a strange principle. It's just going back to first principles. A violinist would understand this almost better than an engineer, in that they haven't been BS'd along the way by all sorts of black magic. Incidentally, that's what a lot of people describe doublets as. They're nothing of the sort. They're just back to the very first principles of attempts to fling RF hither and thither. It's only that all's well that ends well is probably the nearest thing Shakespeare wrote to. I was going to say a soap opera, but I was going to try to show my street cred possibly by saying Love Island. It really is a soap, probably the soapiest of all of Shakespeare's plays. So
you said that the grass is beginning to look a bit as and possibly Vavo, which is Oscar Charlie 063, between the 8th and the 17th of August. Activity will be on 160 to 10 metres, using mostly FT8 and JT65, with some CW possible depending on conditions, and QSL via ZL1 Bravo Quebec Delta. Today and Monday, Martello Tower Group continues operating GB5RC, celebrating 5 decades of offshore broadcasting, operating from the motor vessel Ross Revenge, the home of Radio Caroline since 1983. Activity will be on 80, 40, 20, 17 and 10 metres SSB and various data modes. Contact Keith, November 6, November Hotel Uniform, via email to Golf 6 November Hotel Uniform @me.com. Deep Space Exploration Society will be operating a special event station from the 11th to the 13th of August from the site of the 60-foot dish observatory in Colorado. Calling as K0 Papa Romeo Tango and coinciding with the Perseid's meteor shower, operation will be from 1400 UTC to 2359 UTC
7.238, 14.253 and 50.160 megahertz. Details for this are http:// Delta Sierra Echo Sierra .science / Welland Valley Amateur Radio Society will be operating another in its series of special events marking the end of the First World War. This month's call sign is Golf Bravo 5 Fox Whiskey Whiskey. GG5RC will be on Thursday the 3rd to Monday the 7th at Bradwell Marina as the Marcello Towers Group celebrates 5 decades of offshore broadcasting. Fairham District Amateur Radio Club will be operating GB0PKF for Portsmouth Coast Festival on the 11th and 12th of August. Advance notice now about International Lightship Weekend, which takes place on the 18th and 19th of August. Following on from a very successful Maidens Island lighthouse activation, Bush Valley Amateur Radio Club will be operating from Rathlin East, West and Rue Point lighthouses on HF, VHF and UHF. Details will be posted on the Mike November 0.com page, and the full information on the International Lightship and Lighthouse Weekend is at https://ITalyLimaLimaWhiskey.net. If you're planning a special event station, please remember to send publicity information well in advance to radcom@rsgb.org.uk. We're very happy to help publicise your event on GB2RS, in Radcom and on the RSGB website. We can't help unless you tell us what you are doing. As a rule of thumb, please send details for Radcom at least 3 months in advance. And now the contest news. This is in the month of August. We're simply to the group of summer until Monday the 13th of August to offload long. 432 meg low power contest runs from 0800 UTC to 1200 UTC. Today, the exchange is signal report, serial number, locator and postcode. On Tuesday, the 144X FM AC and UK AC takes place using FM only on the FM AC from 1800 UTC to 1900 UTC, and then you can use all modes in the 144X UK AC until 2130. Signal report, serial number and locator for exchange for both of these contests. Now on Thursday, the 6 metre FM AC and UK AC takes place. The FM only 50 megs UK AC runs from 1800 UTC to 1900 UTC. It's followed immediately by the all mode 50 megs UK AC, which runs until 2130 UTC. Exchange for both is signal report, serial number and locator. We're told Europe DX-CW contest takes place for the entire 48 hours of next weekend. Europe works non-Europe only, using all the contest bands from 3.5 to 28 MHz. The exchange is a signal report and serial number. You can significantly boost your score by exchanging reports that previously held QSOs, but not everybody chooses to do this. A web search for DARC WAE should find the rules explaining how it works. Finally, for next weekend, next Sunday sees the 70 meg cumulative number 5, running from 1400 UTC to 1600 UTC. All modes can be used on the 4 metre band, and the exchange is signal report, serial number and locator. You are listening to GB2RS, the news broadcasting service of the Radio Society of Great Britain. This broadcast comes to you from amateur radio station G4IDF, located in the city of Worcester and transmitting on 3650 kHz. Now the radio propagation report, compiled by G0KYA, G3YLA, and G4BAO, on Friday the 3rd of August. The solar flux index stayed around the 70 mark this week, not last week, although a new tiny sunspot did become visible on Tuesday. Unfortunately, this had little real effect on the solar flux index, although it did push the sunspot number to 11. This can be misleading due to the way the sunspot numbers are calculated. You score 10 for each group and 1 for each sunspot, so the leap from 0 to 11 means only 1 sunspot has appeared. We got the geomagnetic forecast correct last week as conditions were quite settled, as many amateurs found in the IOTA contest. HF conditions were largely average, with a predominance of European signals. However, there were reports of some intercontinental DX, especially for the better equipped stations. Next week, NOAA predicts the solar flux index will be pegged at 68, although we think it could rise a little above this due to the sun's active region. The other news is another active region is heading around the sun, and its effects may impact us in about a week's time. Geomagnetic conditions this week will be largely settled, but with the possibility of a raised K index this week due to an equatorial coronal hole. Expect HF conditions to continue pretty much as they did in July, with daytime minimal maximum usable frequencies over a 3,000 kilometre path, struggling to exceed 14 megahertz times. In Dr. Tamister Scott's weekly solar forecast on YouTube, she said the new sunspot region could push conditions to the top end of 4, which sums up solar minimum. You can find out more about her work at www.spaceweatherwoman.com. The IOTA contest showed that there is still sporadic activity around on the 14 to 28 megahertz band. It sometimes takes a contest to get people to take advantage of it. Finally, as we're now into August, you should...
Yeah, and you're going over the 9 now. You're not quite making the 9 plus 10 at the moment, but a good signal. I don't know. Your first over wasn't quite so strong. I don't know if it's those coils in your area drying out again, but, from condensation or something. It always seems to happen, doesn't it? Your first over's usually a bit low, and then it comes up quite well. At least that's the way I see it on the meter here. So there we go. And yeah, it was quite cloudy here earlier this morning. About 7 o'clock it was sort of grey from wall to wall, and now it's brightened up, bright sunshine, and the temperature's gone up since we started. It's now 25 degrees. 25.3 now. So temperature's going up all the time. And Jim's at a place called Cropredy in Oxfordshire, George, so he's in the Northampton sort of direction, in that area sort of business. Not quite. I don't know what's happened to Dave this morning. He said he'd be on, but no sign. That's oddity, isn't it? That yes, it should certainly appear on the
Foxtrot Charlie 902. It is not a balanced tuner at all. It's
although obviously his transmission's better than his reception. Never mind. Hope you're well. Beautiful sunny day here in Bedford, and all's well. GD0SR9, Mike 0 Zulu Alpha Echo.
And 0 ZEE-GD0SR9. Yeah, good morning, Henry. I'm afraid Stan's just closed the net now. Not many on this morning, but Glenn was there. I don't know if he's still on, of course, and Dave was there, but I think they've closed down now, waiting for the northern net, Henry. I've got 19 degrees now, and the sun has just poked out, and it's still a little bit cloudy, hazy cloud, if you know what I mean.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, test. Hello, test, hello, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, test, 1, 2. 321. 1235954 321. Hello, test, hello, test.
G0RGB, this is GCNIQ, yeah, good morning folks. Well, it's sunny here, high clouds, sort of the
On Friday, they're holding a project evening.
Neil, as I told you, I remember commenting on you liking curry.
Saturday morning at Bletchley Park.
Yes, go in the deep end. A lot of Shakespeare's plays are difficult, and I think in the case of this particular one, not particularly. It tries to draw a sort of social comparison about war and marriage, and actually how similar are the tactics you deploy in the two. So if you like, it's got some resonance probably with modern day as much as anything, but if you get a chance, start on something a bit easier like Macbeth. Loads of film versions. Try to get the one by Roman Polanski, and it's about naked ambition, and in particular the naked ambition of a wife with a husband who needs